What if everything you've been taught about manifestation is keeping you trapped in the very timeline you're trying to escape? Here's the uncomfortable truth that quantum physics reveals, and most spiritual teachers won't tell you. The moment you reach forward toward your desire, you're actually pushing it further away. The mechanism of quantum manifestation doesn't operate the way your logical mind assumes it does. You're not creating a future outcome. You're synchronizing with a version of you that already exists, waiting in the quantum field for you to stop interfering with its arrival. Think about that for a moment. Right now, there's a version of reality where you've already achieved what you're working toward. That timeline isn't somewhere in the future you need to build toward. It's already complete, already formed, broadcasting a signal back to you through time itself. But here's where it gets strange. Every time you try to manifest by projecting your desire forward, by setting intentions for something you don't have yet, you're actually encoding absence into your nervous system. You're telling the field, I am the person who doesn't have this. And the field, being nothing more than a mirror of coherence, reflects that exact signature back to you with ruthless precision. This isn't about positive thinking or manifesting harder. It's about understanding that time, at the quantum level, doesn't move in a straight line from past to future. It resonates, it collapses, and the version of you that's already living your desired reality is sending a signal backward through the field right now, trying to reach you. But the noise of your striving, the frequency of your wanting, the emotional static of your effort is drowning out that signal. So here's the question that changes everything. What if the real work isn't creating your future, but finally allowing it to finish you? If this resonates with where you are on your path, subscribe to this channel. Because what we explore here isn't theory. It's the physics of reality itself, translated into the language of lived transformation. Here's the shift that unlocks everything. Manifestation doesn't begin with desire. It begins with completion. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And more specifically, it responds to the coherence of your identity signal. When you stop treating your goal as something separate from you, existing somewhere out there in a future you haven't reached yet, and instead allow yourself to synchronize with the already finished version of that reality, something fundamental changes in how the field organizes around you. This isn't metaphor. This is mechanism. In quantum physics, the observer doesn't create reality by looking at it. The observer collapses probability into certainty by being in a specific state of coherence. Your nervous system, your emotional signature, your identity frequency, these are not separate from the field. They are the measurement device. And just like in the delayed choice quantum eraser experiments, where future measurements affect the past behavior of particles, your future state is already influencing your present. You're not building towards something. You're responding to a signal from a version of you that's already there. The illusion most people are stuck in is linear manifestation. I am here, my goal is there, and I need to work my way across that distance. But the field doesn't work in distances. It works in correspondence. It works in resonance. When your emotional frequency matches the frequency of the timeline where your desire is already fulfilled, the field doesn't move you toward it. It collapses the probability wave, and that timeline becomes your lived experience, not because you created it, because you synchronized with it. So the question we're really asking in this video isn't how do I manifest faster? It's how do I stop interfering with the future that's already trying to reach me? And that mystery, that subtle reframe, is what we'll unravel together right now. Let's break down the actual physics of how this works. Because once you see the mechanism, the entire spiritual conversation around manifestation starts to make sense in a completely different way. In classical physics, we think of time as a one-way arrow. Past leads to present. Present leads to future. Cause precedes effect. But quantum mechanics reveals something far stranger. Causality can flow backward. This phenomenon is called retrocausality, and it's been demonstrated in experiments like the delayed choice quantum eraser, where a decision made in the future determines the behavior of a particle in the past. Now translate that into your lived experience. If future measurements can influence past states at the quantum level, then the version of you that already exists in the timeline where your desire is fulfilled is not passively waiting for you to arrive. That future self is broadcasting a signal backward through time, influencing your present state right now. But here's the critical piece. You only receive that signal when your nervous system is coherent enough to detect it. And coherence, in this context, means your emotional frequency matches the frequency of that future timeline. Think of it like tuning a radio. The station is already broadcasting, the music is already playing. But if your receiver is tuned to the wrong frequency, all you hear is static. That static is wanting. That static is effort. That static is the emotional signature of "I don't have it yet," which encodes a temporal gap between you and your desire. And the field, being a perfect mirror, reflects that gap back to you as continued absence. Dr. Joe Dispenza's work on heart-brain coherence demonstrates this beautifully. When your heart and brain emit synchronized electromagnetic signals, your nervous system enters a state that researchers call high coherence. In this state, your body is no longer broadcasting the frequency of lack or separation. It's broadcasting the frequency of completion. And that frequency is what the quantum field recognizes as a measurement, not a thought, not a visualization, a state of being, an identity signal that says, "I am the person who already has this." This is why surrender is not giving up. Surrender, in the language of quantum manifestation, is the moment you stop projecting your desire into a future timeline and allow the already complete version of that reality to collapse into your present experience. You're not manifesting forward. You're allowing a future probability to finish its path toward you. The field doesn't need your effort. It needs your coherence. And here's where it gets even more precise. Time, at the quantum level, doesn't flow. It resonates. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously as overlapping probability fields. The version of you reading this right now and the version of you already living your desired reality are not separated by time. They're separated by frequency. Change the frequency and you don't move through time. You shift timelines. The future doesn't happen to you. It collapses into you the moment you stop holding it at a distance. That's the mechanism. That's how quantum manifestation actually works. Not as magic, as physics. Now let's talk about why most people, even those who understand this intellectually, still can't make it work. Because knowing the mechanism and embodying the mechanism are two completely different frequencies. The most common mistake is what I call temporal projection. You set an intention for something you want, and in that very moment, you encode it as future. You say, "I'm manifesting this. I'm calling this in. I'm creating this reality." But listen to the language. Every one of those statements places the outcome ahead of you in a time that hasn't arrived yet. And the field responds not to your words, but to the emotional timestamp embedded in those words. The second mistake is even more subtle. It's the belief that effort accelerates manifestation. So you visualize harder, you affirm more, you take more action, convinced that the universe rewards hustle. But in the quantum field, effort is noise. Effort introduces interference into the signal. Think of it like trying to hear a whisper in a crowded room. The future version of you is speaking clearly, broadcasting its frequency without distortion. But your striving, your wanting, your trying drowns it out. The field doesn't respond to effort. It responds to clarity. And clarity is found in stillness, not force. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that if we're not doing something, we're falling behind. So we add another morning routine, another manifestation ritual, another technique. And every addition creates more static, more distance between you and the signal that's already trying to reach you. This is why people report that the moment they gave up, the moment they stopped trying so hard, everything shifted. It's not that giving up magically works, it's that in the absence of interference, the future signal finally has space to reach you unobstructed. The third mistake is treating the outcome as separate from your identity. You think, when I get the thing, then I'll feel complete. But the field doesn't work in sequences, it works in states. If you're waiting to feel complete, you're broadcasting incompleteness. And the field mirrors that frequency with ruthless accuracy, giving you more experiences of waiting, more reasons to feel incomplete. And here's what I need you to hear, because this is where the real shift happens. None of this means you've been doing it wrong. None of this means your effort was wasted or your intentions were broken. You've been working with the tools you had, the understanding you had, the frequency you were able to access at that time. And that's not failure. That's the path. Every version of you that tried and didn't see results was teaching you something essential about how the field actually works. You weren't failing, you were calibrating. The frustration you felt, the exhaustion of trying so hard and seeing minimal movement, that's not evidence that manifestation doesn't work. It's evidence that you were operating from a misaligned strategy, and the moment you recognize that, everything changes. Because now you're no longer asking what's wrong with me. You're asking what signal am I broadcasting, and how do I tune it to match the frequency of the timeline I want to experience? This is the truth that changes everything. The version of you that already made it, that already has what you're reaching for, didn't get there through more effort. That version got there by becoming the person for whom that reality is natural. And the distance between you and that version isn't measured in time or action. It's measured in frequency, in coherence, in how consistently you embody the emotional signature of the end state. So before we move forward, I want to invite you to like this video, not as a favor to me, but as a way of signaling to the algorithm that this message needs to reach the people who are ready for it. Because someone out there is one video away from the shift that changes their entire trajectory. And if this resonates with you, there's a reason you're here. So pause with me for just a moment. Let this settle. And ask yourself, what version of my future am I holding at a distance right now? What outcome am I still treating as separate from who I am, as something I need to earn or achieve or become worthy of? And more importantly, what would it feel like if that version of reality was already complete, already formed, and the only thing standing between you and its collapse into your present experience was the noise of your wanting? Feel that for a second. Don't rush past it. Because this isn't just an intellectual question, it's an identity question. And the answer you feel, not the answer you think, is the signal you're broadcasting into the field right now. Here's the thread we've been following since the beginning. If the future is already sending you a signal, and that signal is being drowned out by the static of effort and wanting, then the real question isn't, how do I manifest this? It's how do I become still enough, coherent enough, aligned enough to finally hear what the already finished version of my life has been trying to tell me all along. And for many of us on this path, people like us who've been doing the inner work, who understand the language of frequency and embodiment, that question isn't theoretical anymore. It's the doorway. So let's make this real. Let's talk about what you actually do with this understanding. Because knowledge without application is just philosophy. And philosophy doesn't shift timelines. Embodiment does. Here's the practice that changes everything, and it's simpler than you think. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you step into the identity of the person who still needs to get somewhere, you return to the frequency of completion. Not as a visualization, not as a future you're building toward, as a memory. Close your eyes and feel into the version of you that already has what you're calling in. But don't imagine it as something ahead of you. Feel it as something that already happened. Let your nervous system experience the emotional signature of that timeline as if it's your current reality. The relief, the ease, the quiet certainty that comes when you no longer need to prove or chase or earn anything. And here's the key. Stay there long enough that your body begins to believe it. Because your body doesn't know the difference between a lived experience and a deeply embodied emotional state. To your nervous system, there is no difference between imagining something with full coherence and living it. This is the practice of quantum manifestation. You're not creating a future. You're synchronizing with the frequency of the already complete version of that future, and you're holding that frequency long enough that the field reorganizes your present reality to match it. Every day, this is the work. Not effort, not trying, just returning over and over to the emotional signature of the person you already are in the timeline where your desire is fulfilled. And here's what I've seen happen again and again with people who commit to this practice. The external shifts don't happen because they worked harder. They happen because the interference cleared, the static quieted, and the future's signal, which was always broadcasting, finally had space to reach them. Reality doesn't change because you force it. It changes because you stop resisting the version of it that's already trying to arrive. Now, if you're ready to take this deeper, if you're at the point where you understand the mechanism but need support, in the daily embodiment of it, I created the trail as a living extension of everything I share in this channel. It's not a course or a theory. It's a practical, day-by-day journey to reprogram your identity and hold your new frequency in real life. I designed it to walk with you through that moment when you've already understood the truth, but now need to integrate it, live it, embody it. If this message resonates with you, you'll find the link in the description. It's the natural next step on your path of expansion. And let's be clear about something, because I don't want you to fall into the trap of thinking this is about perfection. You're going to have days where you forget. Days where you slip back into wanting, into effort, into the old frequency of I don't have it yet. And that's not failure, that's human. Those of us walking this path, everyone in this community who's committed to embodying a new timeline, we all experience that drift. The difference isn't whether you drift, it's how quickly you notice and return. The real victory isn't maintaining perfect coherence every moment of every day. The real victory is the speed at which you catch yourself, recognize the static, and choose again. You wake up anxious. You notice the anxiety. You don't shame yourself for it. You simply ask, what frequency is this? And then you return to the frequency of the already finished version. That's the practice. Not perfection, not flawless execution. Just the willingness to return, again and again, to the signal you want the field to reflect back to you. And everyone on this journey, every person who's experienced a real timeline shift, will tell you the same thing. The shifts didn't come from never slipping. They came from building the reflex of return, from training the nervous system to recognize coherence and choose it, not once, but consistently, until that frequency becomes your default. That's the path. That's the real work. And if you're here, you're already doing it. So here's what I want to invite you to do, not as homework, but as a symbolic anchor for everything we've explored today. In the comments below, I want you to write one thing, just one. It could be the identity you're choosing to embody from this moment forward. It could be the most important insight from this video that you're taking with you into your life. It could be the next practice you're committing to, the action that represents your alignment with the already finished version of you. Or it could be a story, something from your own experience that shows how this concept has already shown up in your reality, even before you had the language for it. This isn't just engagement. This is your signal to the field. The moment you name it, you anchor it. You make it real. And when you read the comments of others on this path, you'll see how many of us are walking this same journey, holding the same frequency, learning to let the future collapse into now instead of chasing it forward. And here's the answer to the question we opened with. The future isn't something you create. It's something you allow to finish you. That's the real act of surrender. That's the quantum collapse. Because here's the identity shift that makes all of this sustainable. You're no longer the person manifesting a better life. You're the person whose future self is already broadcasting back through time, guiding you toward coherence. You're not becoming, you're remembering. You're not building, you're synchronizing. And every day, every practice, every moment, you choose to return to the frequency of completion. You're deepening that resonance until the field has no choice but to reflect it back to you as your lived reality. This isn't where the journey ends. This is where it accelerates, because now you have the mechanism. Now you understand how quantum manifestation actually works. And the next videos on this channel will continue to deepen that understanding, giving you the tools, the frameworks, the lived practices to hold that frequency in a world designed to pull you out of it. So if this message resonates with the path you're on, if you feel like you belong in this space with others who are learning to let the future collapse into now, subscribe to this channel. Because what we're building here isn't content, it's a field of coherence. And every person who joins strengthens that signal.